Hi, my name's Keith and I'm known as the Florida Stone Man, and today I'm going to be talking to you all about things that can block your gifts. And this is just a video topic that popped into my head, so someone was probably thinking about it. So what can block your gifts? What can stop you from opening your pathways to your highest self? What can stop your angels from talking to you? I'm going to tell you in this video some of the main things that really does that. A lot of people will go their entire lives and not hear their guardian angels directly. Why is that? Because there are some people who start off in this world and it's a very specific kind of person. And those people actually, there's alarms going off now that I said that. I don't know what was confirmation for what, but alarms started going off right when I said that. So there's your confirmation. But the thing about that is you have to understand, some people are born in this world with gifts, and the gifts are too much. If you know what I'm talking about, then you know what I'm talking about. Some people will, and I know a lot of people like this. Some people will be born with these gifts, and they'll just ask God, hey, God, please take this away, it's too much. And God's like, okay, ask and you shall receive, and boom, gift gone. Ooh, and that's not the smartest thing, because people can't really get the gifts back like that, and when they do, it doesn't feel the same, because in your past life, when you come to this life, you take a tremendous amount of gifts with you. Sometimes all of them. That's what crystals are for, because God allowed crystals on the earth to help us open our gifts. So what happens if you're a supernaturally gifted kid? You're hearing angels, you're hearing spirits, you're hearing demons, you're hearing everything. You're literally hearing everything, and sometimes it's too much. There's no filter. So sometimes, and that's the thing, there is absolutely no filter. So God will put the filter, he'll put the veil on so that side does not bother you. Some people have absolutely no control over it at all. I know a girl, for example, and she in middle school and high school, she was one of the most gifted people ever, but she would hear her angels all the time, but she'd also hear demons, and she'd hear everything else, and it just got too much. And one time she just went before the Lord and said, please take these away. And he's like, okay, sure. And they were all gone. And she noticed her dreams stop, her vision stop, her prophecies we're not shown anymore. She was fully cut off from being able to hear or see them. Obviously, she didn't see angels standing around her house anymore. Everything just kind of went away. Just fully went away. What is that? Because some people will know what I'm talking about. What is that? What happens when everything just gets shut off? It's because God puts the veil on it. He hit a button. He basically, if you want them back, I'll tell you how to get them back, is by practicing. And when I say it's never the same again, it's because you naturally had them. So let's just say you had the world's best football throwing hand, and now you asked, let's just say, what's a good example? Your football throwing hand was a little too strong and you kept breaking stuff. So you say, okay, please take this away. God's like, okay. And then you can't throw a football anymore, and you want to throw a football again. But in order to throw the football, you have to practice now. So that's what God will have you do, is practice for many years until you're good at it. Versus you naturally had it, and you would have had several years of your life dedicated to actually getting good at that before that happened. So that will close up that gift. So when the gift closes, can it ever be fully open? Yeah, but it just won't feel fully open like that. It won't feel like, because you'll have the nostalgia of, oh, when I was a child, I'd be able to see everything. Some people, that does happen to some people. If you were one of those children who had all their gifts open and they were just wide open, sometimes the Creator will close them, or sometimes they just get closed up by certain things. So the first thing that will mute your gifts is God, the Creator, because He can. Sometimes He'll know it's better for you. And some people literally can't function. Some people will be having, let's just say, so many different problems as to where they have certain labels with them, like medical labels, like schizophrenia, but that's a whole different topic, because some people are actually schizophrenic. Disclaimer, this is a spiritual video, but when someone hears all their angels and a bunch of demons at once, it drives them to the point of like madness. And it's just like, what is this? This is maddening. This is too much. And God will want that person to grow normally, so He'll mute that, and that won't even be there. That will not be a question. Now, when you reopen them by yourself, you'll have and people ask, okay, can you hear spirits? I'm like, I actually trained myself to not be able to hear spirits like that. The one thing I did do is If I'd like to talk to an ancestor, I won't do it directly. I'll have my gateway angel kind of be the medium between that, and the gateway angel will talk to the ascended ancestor and pass along the message, so that sometimes the door gets held open and you get a little too comfortable with your ancestors, because some people will be talking to ancestors and something else will push the ancestor out of the way. It's called the hand. In the spiritual realm, it's called the hand. It's something a demonic entity can do, because their hands are different. Their hands have different energetic properties. And they take their hand, they go and push them out of the way and then pretend to be them. Kind of like the demon took its identity and pretended to be ancestor. You talk to something that's not your ancestor, you kind of feel it after a while, because your ancestors like, and demons will just say the most outrageous things that don't come true, like, oh, they're gonna pay for everything and this horrible thing's gonna happen. It's like, wait, that's not an angel. Angels are not focused on that. Angels will say, okay, they'll get their karma, but they're not like, oh, that person's gonna, they're gonna, I wouldn't even repeat what demons say, because they're talky, they're chatty, they have the biggest mouths. They literally have the biggest mouths. I'm not gonna go into what demons say, but let's just say I did a little exorcism the other night, and they open their mouths and all they do is talk, but nothing happens. Especially when the Lord shows up. When the blood of Jesus covers demons, they have to go. They'll knock things over as they run away because they're so scared. But, which actually did happen. The person asked, did you knock over all my pictures when you were doing that? I'm like, no, I didn't. They did. So back to the topic, what closes your gifts? Not knowing who you're talking to demons, talking to spirits, talking to dark entities, dark energies. And by the way, that little event, that little exorcism from the other night actually taught me how to exorcise demons better. I'll talk about it in the future, but there's a way to charge your tourmaline with the energy of the blood of Jesus. There's a certain set of prayers that you can do over tourmaline that literally has blood of Jesus energies on tourmaline. I didn't know how much that scared demons until the other night. But when it comes to what can close your gifts, God will close your gifts if he knows you're talking to demons, if you have an imposter. If you have, let's just say if you're, this is really important. What happens if you're a rotten person? What can close spiritual gifts? Being a rotten person, being horrible, because these are not your gifts. They're God's gifts. He gives them to you. Sometimes you shouldn't be, there is no reason as to why you should have a gift. Sometimes he will give you a gift because he's God. He'll surprise you with gifts. It could be something small. Let's just say you can move an object, but if you start moving an object and you start like harassing people, like, well, you gotta let me into the club because I can move an object. Do you know who I am? So that's one thing too, when you start being rude and nasty, and when you start getting very egotistical, your gifts will disappear, because God will he'll literally put like a lock on the gift. And the lock sometimes doesn't get taken off. Not until the next life, not until maybe never. It's kind of like if you're someone who works out, but you require creatine or any kind of pre-workout, and then it's cut off from you and you can't work out because you don't have it now. It's kind of a strange example, because not everyone should be relying on creatine to work out, but you guys know what I'm saying. The thing is, so being ego, being not humble, being rude, nasty, mean, and you have these gifts, they're taken away. But why do people on the bad side get gifts? Because the demons are passing along their gifts by using energy that they're actually stealing from the person. So let's just say, why are some demonic mediums so gifted? It's temporary. That lasts for a couple of months and then it disappears forever. Or it comes back after a little while and disappears again. Those gifts are not real. What the demonic entity is doing is using that person's energy as fuel instead of for the heavenly realms, that God doesn't need energy because he's God. He has everything and more. He gives us energy. When you pray for God to ask him for energy, he gives you energy. So these demons are actually using the energy of the people and other people around them. So that's why in a lot of tarot readings, the person will be exhausted after a reading because the demon took all their energy. Because that wasn't a free reading. There's no such thing as a free reading. TikTok lives, scrolling through, you see a bunch of kids, no idea what they're doing. They think they're doing what they're doing for free. It's being paid for. You're paying. So let's just say, what's another thing that you can close your spiritual gifts? Because this is a really good topic. Lack of spiritual hygiene. So if you're not spiritually clean, what do I mean by that? If you're doing Reiki on everyone, if you're pulling cards on everyone, if you're, and you can hug people, but if you're hugging everyone and exchanging so many energies with so many different people, your guides will be like, let me close this door so nothing gets in. Thank God for that, because if they actually did, you wouldn't be here. You wouldn't be around. You wouldn't be able to do that. So that's a big thing. I know several mediums who basically, and no one ever tells them that their gifts get shut off. It feels like it's there, but it's not. It's kind of like an illusion, so that person doesn't fully lose their mind, versus sometimes the illusion will be there or not there. If the person deserves to lose their mind, then they'll lose their mind. So I've seen certain mediums, because there's a lot of mediums in the spiritual community. There's a lot. And certain mediums just lost all their gifts, but they think they'll come back, or they think it's temporary, they think it's still there. And it's because their hygiene was horribly spiritually. They had horrible spiritual hygiene. So they were not spiritually clean, they didn't cleanse. I mean, what happens because you guys think it's fun to get Reiki, and you think it's fun to get cards pulled on you. If that person didn't ever cleanse themselves, and they just read someone, and that person didn't cleanse themselves, now you have problems that don't even belong to you. Let's just say if they read someone, and that's how luck can get passed around as well. If that person has the gift of luck, and this is just messy. This is just messy. So if that person has the gift of luck, and the entities on the whatever tarot reader or whatever oracle card reader read that person, and then some of the gift is siphoned, because everything's energy, and the gift of luck is based off of energy, and that person has no protection, and then the person's reading you now, and now in a reading, everything with luck comes up. Oh, you're very lucky. It's because that person who had luck just got their energy siphoned, and it went into the reading because it cross-contaminated, and congratulations, you're really lucky. But what happens if you're the really lucky one? Then it's not so fun, is it? So you could be really lucky, the gift crosses over, and it's just messy. It's just flat out messy. So your guides will turn off gifts at that point, so you preserve them. So egotistical behavior gets gifts shut off. Your guides can shut off gifts. Your guides fully have the ability, especially your angels, I speak about angels, have the ability to shut your gifts off. Demonic gifts are not actually gifts. They're not. They're illusions. They're flat out illusions, so I won't even talk about those. Because people go, oh, my demons give me gifts. Well, you ever see what happens when a demon gets sick of the person that they're using? They push them down a set of stairs, the person ends up in the ER. Yeah, they get disposed of, because there's actually reasons behind demons disposing of people after they use them. Now, because they still have that tie there, so they have to get rid of the tie, how can you prevent your gifts from getting stolen? How can you have better spiritual hygiene? How can you be more humble? Be more humble by being humble, but by working with certain crystals. So, what else can you do? What else can you do? It's not like there's a crystal that blocks 100% of black magic, dark energy, roadblocks. It's not like there's a really good crystal called black tourmaline out there, right? If you're not wearing black tourmaline as a necklace, or even as bracelets, then it does give your guides, I'm not going to say an excuse, a reason as to why to not speak to you or to talk to you directly. They'll telepathically message you, they'll be near you, but unless you have a certain protection or protections around you or in your home, they flat out know that it's not fully safe to communicate with you. And I understand that. After a long time, I understand that. So once you have a certain set of protections, they're able to move in. It's like, why would they go into the field if they know they're going to get shot down? Ask yourself that question. So that's the easiest thing. So normally when people wear black tourmaline, it stops. And one other thing too that's not even worth talking about, because I'm mentioning the tourmaline, other people's spiritual attacks on you will have your spiritual hygiene going down, or if your gifts were open at that point, then you'd be suffering. So God or your guides, most importantly God, because God instructs your guides, so it's always God, but God can ask your guides to do it versus doing it directly, and he's the one who'll shut off the gifts. So, in essence, wear tourmaline, be humble, and ask for your God. Ask for the Most High God to open your gifts, and if you ask for Him to close them, He'll close them. But if you want them back, you have to rework to have them opened. If you have any questions, ask them in the comment section. You guys can get black tourmaline from FloridaStoneman.com. I am working on a black tourmaline series, and there's much more coming to the website, FloridaStoneman.com. Check it out. If you'd like your own custom necklace, DM me on Instagram. I am accepting customs from YouTube. Until then, I will see you guys next time. Ciao!